What's good? It's Tripp Shelton. I'm sure most of y'all know me by now. Scar Mafia, Dope Gang, Third World. You are now tuned into a special episode of GFG TV.
So, man, we're going to jump into another record, man. This is probably my favorite one on, I'll say it's top 2, 3, you know what I'm saying? Better. This record takes you on an emotional roller coaster, literally. I love the beat transition, especially once the stats box was missing with some bread, and y'all was headed to the west. Nigga, I knew shit got real right there. That was my favorite part. You know what I'm saying? Once that transition beat kick in, shit got wicked than a motherfucker. It was like, oh, some shit finna go down, nigga. Yeah. Talk about that.
When I think I was about 9, my mom started dating a guy from work, and at least from my perspective, things like came together kind of quickly, you know what I mean? And like I remember being happy for my mom, and I liked this nigga. Like, he was involved and he was personable, and like he liked doing things with me and showing me things and talking to me, and the same with my little sister and everything. And like shit was going good. And if he ever were to see this, he knows I don't hold no grudges with him. You know, we've cleared that up, and I'll circle back to that. But this is when I learned about people having that monkey on their back, man. And he had a drug problem, and he was able to conceal it until like after my mom was married to him. And I remember the first instance of it, like I talk about it in that song. And I've talked about it in a song in the past, but there was that one day when, it's like December or January, and this nigga had sold me and my sister's winter coats and his wedding ring and his car, like on a fucking binge over on the west side. Like, he's down in some crack house somewhere. And I'm honored that my mom thought I was man enough to tag along, but we had to go over there and, fish him out of the trap house and go retrieve the wedding ring. And there's some crackhead driving the fucking car, and we got to flag the car down and stop the car. And, you know what I'm saying? I'm just a little nigga, but like I said in there, like, one of y'all niggas bothered my mom, nigga, you gonna get all this 9 or 10-year-old wrath. Like, whatever I got, I'm gonna give it to you, you know what I'm saying? But, and it was just like this recurring pattern, and shit would get good, and that monkey would be on his back, and he'd go missing again, and my mom only put up with 4 or 5 of those times, you know. And not to shit on my mom either, but in that relationship I learned something about what a man's really worth. And I don't think it's very much in most cases, because this nigga was loving and respectful and good to my mom. And he was good to us. And he was a hardworking dude. He just was not educated, and he didn't make a lot of money. And the amount of times I heard my mom nag this nigga about not making a lot of money really shaped how I feel about my worth and what men are worth. Because like, you can be all the good things that women ask for, but if you ain't really bringing bread home, you ain't never really gonna be respected. And that's like something that I see now.
I don't agree with that.
Well, it's not every case. It's not every case. And you don't count because you got a woman that actually like your ass. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? But it's something that I see now. And like, I work at a place where most of us make 6 figures.
Yes, sir.
You know. But still, like, that blue-collar man ain't respected in his own home. A lot of the time he's not.
Why do you think that is, even if you make 6 figures?
Because we're so based on image, you know? Like, I made $130,000 last year.
Yes, sir.
I think a nigga who makes 75, who looks cool doing it, who does it off the phone and wearing suits and shit, he's gonna get more respect than I would. You know what I'm saying? I've been disrespected in my own home when I was married. You know what I'm saying? My second wife had the nerve to call me lazy in the middle of 19 consecutive 12-hour shifts. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
ain't going for that.
they don't. It's all image based, and people don't. They don't care about the bottom line. They care about how it looks. You know, these women want a fucking CEO nigga. They don't care if he's broke. They want him to look cool and have a title and be powerful. I just go in there and bang that hammer and bring home the bread. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm in there, yo, he holding my money, and I don't care.
Said, bitch, all I know how to do is fuck good and swing the hammer.
Yeah, that's it. You know what I mean? I ain't got nothing else. But it's image based, and you know, I started forming a lot of the ways I look at things during that relationship. But I know we've been on this song a long time. I just wanted to say the absolute fucking best I've ever felt in my life. We were at my brother's wedding, who is my stepdad's son. And I hadn't seen my stepdad this was 2015, so I hadn't seen him in like 17 years. And it ended up just being me and him in the hallway at one point. And I remember he was just kind of fidgeting a little bit because I know he wanted to say something to me. And he was like, you know, I love you guys, man. He's like, I just was fighting that demon. And I said, man, I just choose to remember the good parts. Like, you loved us, and that's what I choose to remember. And the way that I could visibly see that let a weight off that nigga. And I know I made his life better by forgiving him for that. That's the best I've ever felt in my life, man. I never felt better than that.
That's deep, dog. You want to chime in on that record real quick, James? Better?
Yeah, my dad was a meth addict his entire life, speed addict. So again, that was another one that fucking tore me up a little bit. But yeah, like I seen the connections. I seen your expression of you saying be better, but him wanting to be better and not being able to be better.
Cause he was a good dude. He just, that shit had him in a chokehold.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And there was a lot of I seen the respect. You know, I heard the visualization of the respect that you had for him, and the admiration that you had for him, and that even though you seen him at his darkest times, yeah, you definitely weren't using that against him.
Yeah, I still respect him. I don't make fun of him or none of that shit. Like, that nigga loved us. He just, that shit had him in chokehold, like I said.
Man, moving on to Mean Girls. How you feel about it?
when you started to go into the talk about when somebody had called you gay and like how you were feeling about how you were belittled in that moment, for not being what they were expecting you to be. How did you translate that into that track? Because I mean, there's a lot of pain there. Like how did you make that into something so bright?
Well, I first want to say the girl that spread the rumor that I was gay after we broke up, we are very cool now. that's the homie. We're very cool because I'm a very forgiving person. But man, that whole track, dog, like I'm kind of a fucked up person in a romantic sense, and a lot of it comes from just like how women treated me in my early life. I was in a weird place, man. Like I came into East High School. I was kind of a blank slate. Like I didn't have a clique. There wasn't a category you could really put me in. Like I was just a nigga at the school. You know what I mean? And the fact that like I didn't conform to this side or that side, that I was truly just me, and me was just, I don't know, regular, or like I wasn't real hood. I definitely wasn't like,
wasn't hood enough, wasn't white enough.
Yeah, like so I'm just there existing.
Purgatory, nigga.
And it just left me like in this place where like I didn't have no bitches or nothing in high school. Like it was weird as fuck, because it was like I could beat half these niggas' ass for most of these niggas for one. These niggas are more spoiled than me. They supposed to be, their whole thing is like they come from struggle and all this, but they're the niggas with Tommy Hilfiger and shit. And like they're not. we're 14. You ain't hustling. Y'all ain't working. Your parents are buying that shit. You know what I'm saying? It was just a weird thing where like fashion became so important and all this other shit. It just left me in this weird box. Like what do you bitches even care about? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it kind of shaped how I am today, because I'm a real like I have a real fucked up self-image, and you know, like people see me a lot higher than I see myself, you know, and between those girls and my father, like that's why I am, you know, like how I am, you know what I mean?
Yeah. You carry that around.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever going anywhere.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I just wrote that. I felt like that record gives a lot of people and maybe former exes some insights to your opinions on love and women. You know what I'm saying? So I felt like that record needed to happen. You know
my own second wife was too cool for me in high school.
No shit.
and
She's too cool for me.
she was too cool for me. Like, and I'm telling you, like I said that line in the school I said that line in the track where I said I'm gonna have to get her back one day so I can get her back.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna have to get her back so I can get her back for the shit she did to me. You know what I'm saying? Like I think subconsciously a little bit, I wanted to make her love me and break her heart a little bit for being too cool for me. You know what I'm saying? And like we're many years later and we're cool and we just left a graduation together for a child that she did not birth, that she's been a fantastic mother to. So no hate, I'm just saying my younger brain I still had malice in my heart about, you know, how she treated me in high school. You know? It's just shit like
high school grudges can last for a long time, man.
Yeah.
They can, dog. Man, let's move on to my favorite record, King Carl. King Carl, man. Definitely my favorite on here. I need to know, is this just rhyming or is this record's all real events? And that hook definitely gave me motherfucking goosebumps as well when I first heard it. I need to know if this record is real, and then I need to know if you would ever sit down and play this record for your father. Has he heard this, or will you let him hear this shit?
I don't think my dad has ever heard any of my music ever. And like, even when I had Buzz and I know it's come across his face, I don't think he's probably ever listened to it. That nigga just wouldn't let me have shit, dog. Like, I was not allowed to enjoy shit. And I think my dad had this this huge fear of like that's, you know, that's a big thing in like black community. I think he was so dead set on making sure I wasn't gay, and so dead set on making sure I was tough, that nigga cranked all the dials way too fucking far. Like, that nigga raised me like he wanted me to grow up to be the Winter Soldier or some shit, you know what I mean? Like I couldn't enjoy shit, dog. Like, I remember being at my grandma's house, and my grandma used to make these taco bowls that were so fire. And I was just having a good time watching I'm watching baseball, about to knock down my second taco bowl, and my dad's favorite move was, a nigga always be reading the newspaper, and he'll pop that bitch real quick to get you to look up. And he popped that newspaper and he said something like, "You eat to live, not for enjoyment." And went back to his paper like, Dad, you calling me a bitch for enjoying food right now? You know what I mean? Like, everything was like that. Every fucking thing was like, if I hit 2 home runs in a game, he would want to talk about the bad throw that I made in the 3rd inning. It was just like, I couldn't have shit. And it was this constant like training to make sure I was tough and making sure I was, you know, emotionally bulletproof like I am now. There's one story that I tell. My dad used to have a sidecar on his motorcycle. He had a Honda 1150 and a little sidecar. And I remember one day he asked me if I want to go for a ride in the sidecar. I'm like 7, like, hell yeah, nigga, let's go. Like, motorcycle, let's go. And you know, we go hit through the neighborhood a little bit. Anybody who lives on the east side knows that up Washington, there's side streets that go to junkyards. And I remember he would take me over to the junkyard in the sidecar, and he'd go in the junkyard and he'd start fucking, you know, not quite donuts, because you can't really donut with a sidecar, but like driving in circles, and and he'd rile up the junkyard dogs, and he'd get them to chase us. So he'll get the dogs to chase us to where the dogs are right here on me in the sidecar, and they're snarling and slobbering and barking and shit, and I'm screaming and snot bubble crying and freaking out and begging this nigga to go faster, but he'll go just fast enough that they couldn't get me, but that I'm having a fucking heart attack when I'm 7. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is to make me tough. Like, nigga, like, there's other ways to do this shit, bro.
Right,
and like,
terrifying a child.
right? And I'm stupid, and I'm 7 or 8. So when this nigga come back around in a couple months and want to go for a motorcycle ride again, you promise we're not going to the junkyard? Oh yeah, we're not going to the junkyard. Where the fuck are we going? Right to the motherfucking junkyard. like,
I know this route.
I know this nigga was trying to make me tough, and he fucking succeeded. But goddamn, bro, like that was more still in my innocence than the other shit that I saw. Like, I'm fucked up, and it's things like that. It's like, nigga, what were you doing? Yeah. Like,
does
your
dad have a relationship with your kids?
He'd be there at birthday parties, and like my older kids, like they'll text him or hit him up on certain times, but he ain't no grandpa or nothing like that, you know. He show up to the big things, and he'll pop up at a game here and there and shit like that.
What's your relationship like with him today?
Nigga, for a long time, our whole text chat was for like 4 years long. It was just happy birthday and thanks on March 26th and September 30th, like 4 years in a row. But we've tried to get better in my adult life. Like in my 20s, we went to a couple football games and shit. And it's not even like I'm holding no kind of grudge, but I just don't think it's ever gonna click like that, and I don't really care if it does, you know. And that's no disrespect to him. It's like, we had all this time, we didn't do nothing with it. You old, you got pulmonary artery disease. Like, I'm gonna have to mentally gear myself up for when you die, and I don't know how I'm gonna feel about it. And like, we blew it.
Yeah. And
that's where I'm at. Like, we blew it. What are we gonna save now? You like 67. What are we gonna do? You know, we have peace. We don't have a relationship. You know, but it is what it is.
Would you ever want your dad to hear this record, or would you care if he heard this record? How would you feel if somebody said, "Hey, dog, I'm heading to your pop's house right now, and I'm about to play him this shit"? I mean,
I put it out there with that possibility in mind, but nigga better not say nothing about it. like
short right there. That's a short.
Because I'm not just shitting on him or painting some unfair picture. I'm telling how I felt about that nigga as a child and an adolescent, and he earned every bit of that. He did all that shit, like all of it. Like every time I was happy, and then gotta come smack the ice cream cone out of my hand, and that was his whole. I mean, figuratively, you know what I mean? But like, that was his whole existence, was to not let me feel too good about myself. And I've never fucking felt good about myself. I'm 41, I don't feel good about myself. Like, and that nigga won't take any responsibility for it. So, yeah, if he heard the song, I wouldn't want him to hear the song. If he do, okay,
so
nigga.
You wouldn't want him to hear the
song.
song.
No, but if he did, okay, nigga, I said it. You did it.
Absolutely.
You earned all them lyrics. I don't what? Like, you know, that's all I got.
How you feel about it?
I had a couple bars that I wanted to bring up. So, act proud with this black cloud that follows me around. Mm-hmm. That resonated pretty deep.
Yeah.
Do you feel that that's something that you live with like right now, that you just always will have that cloud?
Nigga, like, I won't take anything that's easy, because all I think is that nigga sucking his teeth and popping his newspaper saying that I skated or I got off easy or somebody helped me or something. Like, nigga, there are things in life that be going good, and I'll be like, nah, this shit ain't hard enough. And I'll back out and go a whole nother fucking way, because in my mind, I'm thinking this nigga's like judging my level of difficulty. Like I'm playing on rookie or some shit. Like, I say this all the time. I do not know if I would cash in the winning lottery ticket, because I hear that nigga like, oh, nigga, you skated. You got off easy. You ain't earned that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's always there all the time. So, like, I don't ever think anything's too hard, because I want it to be fucking hard. So he got to shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like he even be knowing what's going on in my life. I'm just saying, like, subconsciously, I'm like,
You live with that.
is there any loopholes in this that this nigga could shit on and tell me that I got off easy? You know what I'm saying? It's why I won't fucking get married again. Like, I don't want this nigga over there somewhere saying, nigga had to have help, couldn't do it by himself. No, nigga, I'll do it all by myself my whole life, nigga, till you're dead.
Have you ever considered therapy? Like talking to a therapist?
I've been
How
a
is
few
that?
times.
That ever worked for you at all?
I've been 4 times, dog, and they always get to that part where they start asking you to say positive things about yourself, and I'll tell them, like, I'm not doing that, and I will leave. And that's where therapy ends every time. I'm not, like, I don't want to say anything positive about myself. Like, I don't see anything positive about myself. And a lot of that's
How is that? I don't agree with that, because you say that, but then in the same breath, you'll talk about, I earned 130K in a year. Like, that's not positive?
But I also say it ain't shit.
Is that not positive?
I don't think it is, because I was just having a conversation with a boy at graduation about how money don't go nowhere. And like, yeah, like I did earn 130 grand, but I should be earning 1.3 million instead. You know what I'm saying? Like,
coming from where you coming from Cleveland Avenue, to have a job, taking care of all your daughters, making 130K a year, that is not positive. Yes or no?
It's not negative.
Yes or no?
It's positive, but it ain't good enough.
Yes or no?
If you gonna corner me like that, then yes, it's positive.
That's all I mean. That's
but it's not enough.
You're a
it's
realist.
Not good enough.
You're a realist, and that's all I needed to
Yep.
hear.
Yeah.
Okay, that is positive. That's all I needed to hear.
It ain't enough though.
I can take that. I can take that on the back end. I can take that on the back end, but I can take it. Go ahead.
Second part of that, wouldn't cry if he died twice.
I don't know. I'm torn on if I'm going to this nigga's funeral or not. I don't know. Like, and like I said, like, there's no beef right now, but there's also not any connection, any relationship, anything. So, I don't know.
I gotta ask. My bad.
Go.
You say that you don't know if you'll do all that, and you say there's no beef like that, but obviously there's some type of grudge, right? You don't hold grudges, but there's obviously something that's there.
His voice still directs my life.
Okay.
But I'm not, like, angry at him, if that makes sense. Yeah. Like, I'm past, like, I'm not mad. I don't wish nothing bad on him.
He still got a condo in your head, though. That's what you said.
Yeah, he in there.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, at all times.
That's fair.
But, yeah. Nah, I mean, I hope he live out the rest of his years and, you know, gets whatever he wants out of it, which I'm not sure he wants anything, because I don't want shit, and that's probably what I probably got that from him.
So we've dove through the first 9 tracks. We're getting into the teens here, the double digits. We're on to 10. Welcome to the third. I took it as somebody turning into a young man. Mm-hmm. As doing things as a man would do, but learning them. Mm-hmm. That was the entire feel I took from the song, that you were growing into yourself.
Yeah.
And being able to have the thoughts outside of yourself instead of just internalizing them.
Yeah. I got to about my sophomore year of high school, and like I finally met some niggas who I felt like I fit with, because they weren't into all the flash and all the bullshit that like the hood niggas had, you know what I'm saying? But we wasn't trying to go fit in with the white folks either. We was just niggas existing, you know what I'm saying? And we kind of started banding together, and you know, eventually we found more niggas like us, and we made a clique. And East Side niggas know what Third World is. Like, that was my clique. That's what's tatted on my neck, the 3 of spades. Like, we wasn't like everybody else, because other niggas was on money, and we was just angry niggas on breaking your jaw. Like, we just wanted to fight, and that was our shit. Like, and you gotta remember, like, this is late 90s. It's not like there's guns popping out at every fucking disagreement. Like, you could fight niggas
Yeah.
anywhere, anytime,
And live to see tomorrow.
and live to see tomorrow, and live to fight again
Yes,
in
sir.
a couple days, and like that's just what we was on. Like we was headbusters, man. Like that was it. But I love them niggas, and we had a great relationship and great time, and like yeah, that was our introduction into like getting into hood shit and like violence, and then also it was, you know, bitches, and like that was us becoming niggas, really, you know what I mean?
I feel like that's definitely the banger on the album. You know what I'm saying?
My niggas actually from that time, they really dig that one. Like my actual crew from then, they was like, yeah, nigga.
Shout them out. Who are they?
I don't want to put nobody's name in nothing because the album goes so deep.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
But like,
especially in 12.
they know who they are.
Okay,
but
we'll leave it at that.
But
My bad.
no. But they was like, yeah, nigga, I was ready to bang out over that song. I was like, yeah, I had to get one for y'all. Y'all my guys. But
all right, man. Let's jump into Devil Win. Question for me, is that you on the hook? And I feel like HB the King would have been a perfect feature for that bitch.
would have been. That is me.
Can I say something quick
Absolutely.
before you go too far?
Yeah.
The only feature I seen on the entire album was Willie T. At the beginning.
Last track.
Yeah, that's one of the last tracks,
Neverland.
and I'll tell that story
And
too. when
that's
we get
it. That's another part that I was going to get to. Like,
Yeah.
where was the selection going there? But I didn't want to ask.
there.
you about
No.
that.
Usually when you hear somebody singing as me, I realize that I'm not fucking John Legend, but I can sing well enough to get a song off, and it works out, so it's fine. But
that was a breath of fresh air.
that was a pretty real track. That's about the time where I'm kind of at a crossroads where like I realize that I'm heading in the wrong direction, wanting to come back, but also being pulled in the wrong direction. And my grandma and my granddad were always like my sounding board. Like I could come over there and ask them about anything. Like I could have done a school shooting and went to their house and for guidance, and they would have gave it to me. They never turned their back on me. They'll tell me what's real. And I remember, you know, some of those lines from that song. Like I did have real conversations with my grandma, and you know, she could see that I was getting dark, and you know, she was telling me what I needed to do, and I didn't listen, and I had to, you know, skid off the rock bottom a couple times before I turned back around. But you know, none of us fucking listen at that age.
Yeah, definitely. Do you feel that was you expressing the side of yourself that maybe you resented a little bit? Did you resent those decisions and after the loss of your grandpa and everything that you had went through?
Yeah, because like I know I'm a good person, and you know, that's like what I hang my hat on now. But I did get trapped up in like peer pressure and shit, and like while I didn't conform to like, you know, oh, I gotta be a hood nigga and I gotta dress a certain way and I gotta treat women a certain way and all this other shit, I did conform like violently, where I felt like, alright, I'm gonna have to fuck some niggas up for people to take me seriously or respect me. And I got into some shit I didn't have no business being in, and you know, I had a fucking rifle that I used to keep in this. I had this obscenely long Dallas Cowboys bag, like a sports bag, and I had a rifle in that bitch, and that bitch stood up in my locker at East for months and months and months and months, just in case whatever. Like I had no business doing shit like that. I didn't have an upbringing that required me to do shit like that. I was doing that shit off my own decisions. Like I was just dumb. Like
my story's similar to that as well.
Like I was a really good athlete. Like even with all my fuck ups, I got a scholarship to a small school.
Yeah.
If I had not been a fucking idiot, I'd had a small scholarship to a big school. Like I'm gonna have a whole different life. But I was just dumb. Like, and that was that. You know, that song was about that crossroad. And I ended up picking the wrong fucking fork in the road. But you know, here we are. It's all worked out okay. But I could have had a whole different story.
Yeah. Diving from that into the 12th track on the album, we're going to dive into episode 3 for that one.
Let's do it.
But tune back in.
Yeah.